Hello everyone, no respawns here. So we're back in Spectacle Island this time, because this is the place that I make structures, and I have no idea where to put them. Now this is my survival bunker. This is cool, and I've been wanting to make this for a while, but it required a few bits and pieces which weren't available, which are now available. Now the whole premise to this structure, I wanted to obviously probably gather ready from the thumbnail that it looks a lot like a bomb shelter. And I wanted this to be a structure for more of a hardcore playthrough on survival, something a bit more RP, where maybe you don't necessarily want to build an entire settlement up. Now, you can use just normal foundations. It's basically 4x4 roughly. However, I just like the look of kind of making my own. Now, the reason why we're doing it in halves is because when I put the metal prefabs over the top of these, if I just kind of glitched in the 4x4, it was a little bit too wide. So what I'm doing is right here. This isn't as hard as it looks, but is a little bit fiddly. Initially, actually, because I built one in Recruit Manor, you'll see when I finally get around to doing the tour. That's where the idea for this came from. I kind of built one in Recruit Manor. But basically, when I first did it, I put the metal prefab, which you'll see in a second, up. And then I glitched each one of these floors in manually. However, it's so much easier doing it like this, because you get the whole thing kind of completely straight. I'm also having a bit of a fucking nightmare with this pillar. God damn it. God damn, I was swearing a lot while making this video. But it looks cool. You'll like this. You'll like this. This is one of my favourite structures. Oh, we go. Oh, do we work that time? Oh, good. Now, you kind of want it, yeah, basically kind of like, you see those, the boards? You want it one board in, basically. And the way I'm kind of getting this straight is I'm using it. This is actually probably the most fiddly part of the entire structure. Is I'm trying to use... I got a little bit worried about how straight it was. Don't worry too much. Let me just do this. Right, make sure... So you got the red all matching up. There we go. And then just get it in. You can see I'm really uncommittal. But I think that's fine. So this is using this kind of like... I guess it looks like... a kind of, what's the word? For putting planes. Hanger, there we go. That's the word for putting planes. It kind of looks a little bit like a hanger prefab. But it looks very, very cool. And as you can see, it matches up pretty spiffy. Just having the foundation like that kind of makes it feel like a little bit more of a nicer structure. Here we go. This wouldn't... You could do this without mods, but it just wouldn't really work. You'll see in a second. It looks better. So I'm using these two caps there. Now, thank you to the mod developer, Andrew CX, I always forget, but we finally have these shack wall ends for the metal tab. Ah, they're so good. Because basically the whole idea is I wanted this, I've tried making this before, but prior to this we only had the metal one from the wood tab, and it just isn't the right, it doesn't fit in properly, so it doesn't look right, and you can see it poking out the top, whereas these fit in perfectly. You can just use a concrete pillar to kind of squeeze them in. And it just kind of... when I posted on Twitter, someone mentioned this, and this is pretty much exactly this. This is inspired heavily from... Those of you who played Fallout New Vegas, there is a kind of a bomb shelter survival shack. I think it's just called the Abandoned Shack or whatever. Just outside of Good Springs. And basically, it's that. Because I remember when I played New Vegas a lot. Probably a lot more than Fallout 3, in fact. And I remember... And I didn't really mod it. I was playing on PC, but I didn't mod it so much. So I guess I probably could have used that. But this is where I really wanted kind of, you know, my own house that felt more like this. Something that was a real kind of out-of-the-way survival shack. So it's kind of got all the amenities. Even though, for example, I've got a water tower right next to me, I've kind of built this in a way that... it could be just plopped out on its own. I don't know maybe where you put it. I was thinking... possibly you could, I don't know, you could even put it on Spectacle Island, I guess. Maybe if you wanted to evict, potentially, members of other communities, you could potentially have it there as well. Have like, something like County Crossing, Grey Garden, not Grey Garden, what am I talking about? What's the one up north? Greenhouse, Green Top, there we go. Or maybe even one of the other ones, just one of the other settlements. Now, I'm using, see, I've used the concrete there. That basically you've got the concrete bridge and then you've got the concrete steps. But see, on one side of the concrete steps, it actually concrete bridge part on the bottom, basically the bottom bit. Yeah, I don't know what it's called. It actually has a step, so you can make this kind of little step entrance here. And then what you do is you just glitch in this concrete here. I don't know why I went with the concrete. It looks cool. Like, the whole premise of this structure is I wanted it to kind of resemble a bomb shelter. But obviously, it isn't actually a bomb shelter. Maybe it's a repurposed bomb shelter. Because obviously, you know, with the fact that it's got loads of gaps, it's not exactly very stable. It wouldn't actually protect you from bombs. But think about it as this, you know, someone's built this somewhere, you know, several hundred years ago, and then the sole survivor has just repurposed it to actually be more of a long-time survival shack. So you got the doors here. I don't use any of the, you know, kind of the newer doors because I couldn't be asked to snap something in. So I've got this whole thing planned as well. So we've got this is all in the Unlock Settlement Objects mod. I think in the decoration part, you'll see a few bits from the one that unlocks all the Nuka World items, and also I've got one which adds a few more food pieces, just like hub flour and things like that. So this part right here is really cool. Pop it in the back right there, and that's where my Brahmin feeding trough is going to be, and I've also got my scavenge station. It's just a nice way of surrounding the feeding trough. Now I love these fences so much, because it's like I wanted a little farm. And they just look a little bit better than if you're just using the normal kind of, you know, the vanilla fence pieces. However, they are a little bit of a pain in the arse, to say the least. Also, because I don't know if it's been fixed yet. However, the mod right now, you notice when I highlight them, the yellow for a starter. So I can't actually pick these things back up again, which is a bit of a pain in the arse. Now, probably not best to do it the way I just did it here. I was being a bit of a twat, trying to be clever and get it all in one go, but it wasn't really working. I ended up having to basically take the bits out because nothing matches up. Just do them in bits. Don't be cocky, basically. Don't be cocky. But it looks good in the end, so it's fine. It's alright. It's okay. Everything works out. Just squeeze that in there. Oh, I'm so chuffed. I got a little bit carried away with it. Like, the decoration's pretty straightforward, right? It looks cool. I tried to add detail but not go crazy. Where it still took about, I think I spent an hour decorating this. I had fun. Also, this is, those of you probably noticed, it happened to settlements in the past. So this happened a lot when I was decorating this. Basically, for whatever reason, sometimes your provisioners get attacked or they get distracted for a period. So your settlement gets disconnected. This one happens to it all the time. This Spectacle always gets disconnected from my supply route, and I actually have two coming here, so I had a bit of a nightmare when I was decorating this where I kept getting cut off from the space. I had to use Freemaker to actually give myself resources. It was a pain in the arse. So there we go. We've got me bits and pieces now. I'm going to show you a funky technique. A lot of you know how to do this already, but initially I was going to go for this right here, and I think, well, that looks a bit bollocks. We don't like that. So basically what you can do, you take that off right here. Now, I much prefer these for my water purifiers for my settlements on land. They're very easy to do, basically. Just put them in the water like this, as long as you have a place to put them. And then you can just pillar glitch them. Because the thing is, to me, they look like they're meant to be on land a little bit anyway, because they've actually got that moisture, like, catchy thing at the top. And also, you know, the idea maybe that they would draw water from the ground. They just look cooler. They provide the same amount of water. They use less power as well, which is grand. They just look better. I like them. The ones for the new ones, the one I put down before, it's cool, but it's just so noisy and it's such a power hog. I think it uses 5 power. It's a bit stupid, really. Bit silly, just saying. So they've recently, back in the day, I used to, a lot of you remember in my earlier videos, I used to basically put my windmills inside these foundations. Like, I could, if you could just pick the windmill up without glitching or anything. Well, obviously you were glitching it, but you don't do anything special. And you could pick it up and you could basically put it inside these foundations. For whatever reason, this has been completely changed now. So I haven't managed to get them back in yet. I could probably just, like, rug glitch them in, I guess. Or unless it's just got a bit more filial. But basically, you can't really do it anymore, which is a shame. However, it's fine. It's fine. In the decoration stage, I add some bits in, but I've shown you to do it before. It's just pillar glitching them in. Really finished now. The tour's really slow as well. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. So it's very, very cool. I'm very pleased. It's really simple as well. You may notice that's one of the reasons why I wanted this, is I wanted a shack that you could all replicate. It's, there we go, there's my Brahmin feed. I haven't actually got around to getting a Brahmin for this. I should do that. But yeah, basically, like, it's kind of an all-purpose settlement, you know? But it's also quite simple to make, which is good for you if you don't, you know, you want something cool looking, but not necessarily want to spend hours doing it. But also it kind of suits it as well in terms of an RP perspective. So here it is. I've put a lot of effort into this. You can see I've got my little, you know, scavenged little mailbox, a place for dog meat, little chem station, the beer thing from the Nuka World. Got my little farm, bit of everything, and also a little sneaky little hub flower. I've got my water purifier there with the bucket on the bottom. This is very cool. This is probably one of the more satisfying builds I've made, because it definitely sets up the purpose for this. This is your, imagine this just being completely on its own in the middle of nowhere. This is your survival settlement. I could have even popped down a few turrets as well. I didn't want to make any noise. Got, you know, a little repair. I like my mannequins. Fuck off. They're cool. And have a quick crafty gander inside. It's not, kept it quite basic, but as you can see, it's quite simple. The lighting ended up with spotlights because I could use the bulb lights, but they're way too bright. So it's got a bit of everything. It's similar to how I've done my, remember my office build on the top of the workshop office. The kind of thing where, you know, this would develop its own character over a period. Now you add to this. It's kind of a proper survival bunker. Anyway, hope you guys like that. As always, follow me on Twitter at norespawns. I'll have a new video up soon. And, yeah. Hope you guys enjoy this. I'm really pleased by this. Really chuffed. Anyway, I'll talk to you lovely people soon. You take care.